it's pronounced Flickio, and it's spelled, which is important because if you want to look it up, it's fliq.io. So we basically specialize in distribution of high quality short form content. There are two problems we're trying to solve. One is that we want to make it really easy for people to find high quality short form content, and we want to help filmmakers to reach wider audiences and earn revenue. So the easiest way to describe it is a little bit like a private Vimeo staff picks for industry people. So it's private and secure, and it's only accessible to partners, so partners being like animation clubs, film clubs, people who are looking for specific content. And then we obviously accept films from filmmakers, and that content gets curated. So in the submission process, we guide you through tagging the content correctly, because that's one of the big things that's missing often with content that's on Vimeo and YouTube, is that it's not tagged correctly so that you can easily find it. Then we have a team of people in India. My business partner did his MBA in film and new media in India and then worked for an international VOD platform there. So he's quite well connected with people that know what they're doing. And basically the work gets checked for, needs to be professional level quality. So looks at sound production and just production value, and that the tagging is done correctly. And then it goes onto the platform, and then we make it, then we open it up to, as I say, like film clubs, people who are looking for high quality content, and they can use it to search for content for their needs. They can contact the filmmakers directly. We just provide the service. So if they want to screen it, rent it, buy it, whatever. We're also making it available to buyers and other forms of distributors and people looking for online content. So that was actually what inspired it in the first place, is that we wanted to help filmmakers, but we also saw the opportunity for short form content. In that, as more and more people are owning mobile devices, you're also seeing this massive growth in the number of people that are watching short form content. So, and it's been like traditionally an area that's been quite neglected. So, you know, it's made for adverts, you know, show reels, get into festivals, get known. But I just don't feel like it's something. It's an art form that I feel could actually have a lot more potential. So, by having it private and offline, we're non-exclusive, and so you can put your films into Vimeo and get them on staff picks and whatever else. But if you want to try and retain value for whatever reason, then you can just put it onto our platform. As I said, we're opening it up for people who are looking specifically for content to screen, buy or rent. So you won't, and nobody will be able to use it without your permission, so you don't have to worry about using out on festival premiere status. You're able to negotiate this directly yourself. And Vimeo have also very nicely, because we were going to do this ourselves, but Vimeo have done it for us, which I'm very grateful for, have launched a subscription service. So short form content, a little bit like music, lends itself much more to subscription. In terms of viewers wanting to watch content, they're just basically people don't really want to pay for something like 5 minutes, piece of entertainment they're not going to enjoy. So rather pay for a subscription service, and it takes away a lot of the problems that are inherent in distributing long-form content. You don't know the filmmakers, you don't know the actors, you're not sure you're going to enjoy it. Short-form content is much more disposable in terms of you can go through it quickly if you don't want to watch it, or you can carry on watching it. So commercializing it's a lot easier if you curate it correctly. So again, that's through the tagging process. And what we're going to be doing is looking at curating content for specific niche interests. So for example, like really obvious ones like LGBT, or children's content, or extreme sports, or indie content, or animation. A little bit like, a lot of that's happening on Vimeo already, but the idea is that we want to get people paying for content. So the subscription rates will be very low. We share 50% of the, because we're going to be competing with, in terms of people using mobile devices, online gaming. It's kind of, if you're looking at it from a commercial point of view, that's how you think about it, how it will compete. So we've priced it accordingly. So we're pricing it accordingly. We're at the stage now where we've got the platform app, we're in private beta, we've had over 9,000 films submitted. So we've accepted everything for free so far, and we've just started, just put on a £5 charge. That goes towards the curation fees. I have a day job. This is not making me money. Yeah, so if you, yeah, we're looking for really good content, and we basically want to help get the content out there. We want to get it out internationally, so we're forming partnerships internationally, yeah, so give it a try. The URL is fliq.io, so Flick, IO stands for Indian Ocean Territory. It's basically, it's become a trendy domain because the .coms have run out. Flick is obviously a play on Flex. Yeah, so hopefully that will help you remember it. Yeah, and we also promote screenings and events, so that's something viewed. And yeah, so all of our partners, we're trying to leverage how the industry works currently and just give it, you know, help it out a little bit further. Yeah, so if you have any questions, I'll be around a little later. Or you can ask me now.
So, for example, would film programmers be part of this, so they would be able to access work online that way, so to potentially create festivals?
Yes, no, absolutely. We're keeping it totally open to anybody, as long as it stays within the industry, because I don't want, I think, you know, having, which again, if some people want to do it because they want as many people to see their films as possible, but you put it onto Vimeo and get it on Starclick, it's fantastic, you know, you get it out there. But if you don't want to do that and you want to kind of experiment with a different way, you can do both. As I say, we're completely non-exclusive. But I've had interest from mobile providers, which I think is a really interesting one. But you know, we don't have enough content yet, and yeah, I think it needs to get a little bit further before we can start looking at things like that. But as I say, all the content, you know, you have control over where it goes. We do have, one of our partners comes from a distribution and sales agent background, so she's going to be looking at ways of distributing the content further. So the idea is that we have, you know, getting into music festivals where they have film tents, just festivals generally. Yeah, and then, you know, more traditional means, and then as I say, there's also like mobile providers and things like that. But yeah, we've also got very friendly legal, you know, legal terms, so you can read through them and make sure you're happy with it. Yeah, so that's it really.
Just a quick question. What's going to be the experience for the viewer? Is it going to be a series of curated programs? So you mentioned, say, a program for children.
Yes.
Does that mean then children would actually have the same program, or one that's kind of, if you like, nuanced towards their own particular interest through a series of tags?
So no, we're keeping it. We're being really simple to start with. So we're just using Vimeo's subscription service, which means that we don't really have that many parameters to play with. So what we're trying to do is rather identify large interest groups. So children's content is a large interest group. We might end up having to segment it into different age groups, for example. But you know, you can have a channel of children's content. So parents would pay £2.49, and using the Vimeo app, you can then download it, and you'll have a constant stream as we get more content and as it gets published. So from our side, it's completely automated. We set parameters. So say, so anybody who's using it as a partner, we term those people as curators, because as they search for content, they can add notes, they can add tags, and they can rate it. So then we start getting, we start like surfacing, you know, like it starts to add, yeah, exactly. Basically adds more data to it, so it makes it richer, so that it then becomes more usable, you know, in terms of segmenting and using it intelligently.
Right.
Yeah. So from their user experience, it will work with Vimeo and the Vimeo app. So if you haven't seen Vimeo on Demand, I mean, it's the same thing. It's just a subscription service. I think they're built mostly for series, but because that's how they advertise it, but it lends itself very well to this as well. So that's how we're going to be using it. Yeah, so the stage we're at now, private beta, we've got about 9,000 films, we're going to be getting those on. At the moment, if you try and log in or sign up, you're not really going to get anywhere because it's a private beta, but we are accepting content through Film Freeway. So if you go onto Film Freeway and search Video, you can submit. But we're just trying to get through this backlog, so we haven't been pushing, we haven't really been pushing, you know, to filmmakers to say, send us content.
So when do you expect your full launch to be?
Well, hopefully in a few weeks' time.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So we've got got a handful of partners that we've been working quite closely with, and so I'm demoing it to them, just making sure the user experience is, you know, as slick as we can make it. We've had to use templates and things, which means that it's not going to be the best, most amazing experience we could have, but it will be a good user experience. Yeah, we just want to make it as streamlined as possible and easy to use as possible. And once we feel like we've got that right, then we'll start accepting the films. And you know, when you've got thousands, I'm sure I'm going to hit issues. We'll have to tweak it, you know, carry on like that.
Well, I hope you'll come back and tell us a bit more after it's launched.
Yeah.
Please send us some posts and information to the Facebook page.
So, I mean, at this stage, we still, as I said, Film Freeway, you can send content through and we'll keep you updated. But yeah, I will definitely let you know. So.
Right. Okay.
Cool.
Well, thank you very much.
Sure.